met you in the summer, to my heartbeat sound, we fell in love as the leaves turn brown, and we could be together, baby. Now the skies are blue, your accent in the sun now, it's light so soon. When I met you in the summer,
Maybe I'm foolish, maybe I'm blind, thinking I can see through this to see what's behind. Got nowhere to prove it, so maybe I'm blind. But I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put your blame on me. Take a look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see it clearer, or are you deceived in what you believe? 'Cause I'm only human after all. You're only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. Some people got real problems. Some people out of luck. Some people think I can solve them. Lord's heavens above. But I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. Don't ask my opinion, don't ask me to lie. Then beg for forgiveness for making you cry. For making you cry. 'Cause I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put your blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. Some people got real problems. Some people out of luck. Some people think I can solve them. Lord's heavens above. But I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. I'm no prophet or Messiah. Should go looking somewhere higher.
Was great at the very start. Hands on each other. I couldn't stand to be far apart. Closer, the better. Now we're picking fights and slamming doors, magnifying all our flaws. And I wonder why, wonder what for. Why we keep coming back for more. Is it just our bodies? Are we both losing our minds? Is the only reason you're holding me tonight? 'Cause we're scared to be lonely. Do we need somebody just to feel that we're alright? Is the only reason you're holding me tonight? 'Cause we to be lonely? Do we need somebody just to feel that we alright?
Good evening, everyone. This is Bless. This is the first Mastermind Institute collaboration with LinkedIn Local Philippines Masterminds Institute
Made a
and
mistake last
Freelance.
night. Maybe I can make
All right.
it right.
Our video
Sat down
podcast
close
is
to
about empowering
baby. We can talk
freelancers.
about
This is a conversation with John
No need to
Pagulayan,
be
the only one, the founder of the freelance movement. So this will be 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. for tonight, or baka mag-extend kami. So you stand by. O, di ba? Happy kami. We're seeing John Pagulayan right now. My co-host for tonight is Mr. Ariel M. Tolentino, the president CEO of Mastermind Institute. Ariel is a trained speaker, coach, and trainer with the John Maxwell Company. He's also a founding member of Darren Hardy's Heroes Journey, a group of more than 6,000 top achievers worldwide. Okay, so he instills optimism and promotes happiness, prosperity, and well-being. Ako naman, mahaba yung titulo ko, but I'm just also a community manager of the Lincoln Local Philippines. Okay, I would like to introduce our speaker for tonight. Batch 2021 na UP College of Engineering, Materials Engineering yan. Okay, John Pagulayan, the Freelance Movement CEO. He is a community person that helps Filipino freelancers build successful businesses. He is a figure freelancer himself. Okay, so 6 figures ang kinikita ng ating guest for tonight. He teaches others how to do the same without experience, skills, credentials, or a portfolio. Okay, about the freelance movement naman. Here are some of the key points of John Pagulayan's philosophy on freelancing. There is a different and better way to freelance, one that is more valuable, less stressful, and more rewarding. Freelancing should be about giving value, not just selling services. You don't need experience, skills, credentials, or a portfolio to land high-paying jobs or high-paying clients. Freelancing can be a great way to have a business and a lifestyle of your dreams. The freelance movement is here to help you achieve your freelancing goals. If you are a Filipino freelancer, I encourage you to check out the freelance movement. It could be the key to your success. And without further ado, I would like to introduce to you back again si Mr. Ariel Tolentino. Sir Ariel, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Bless, and I'm just so honored and privileged to be with our chief, Pagulayan, John Pagulayan, and welcome sa lahat ng mga nakikinig sa atin. So I'm just gonna dive deep into the first question para dire-diretso na tayo. Don't waste any second. So halata naman no, na medyo kinakabahan tayo. So anyway, Chief John, how did you become a successful 6-figure freelancer, and what were the key factors that contributed to your success?
Okay, so before before I answer that question, number one, thank you for for inviting me. Really awesome to be here. And pangalawa, correct ko lang yung 6-figure kasi baka mamaya they get like an impression of it's not 6 figures. Like it's
More than?
it's beyond that, but
Oh, beyond that, wow.
I want people to be like then that as well. Kasi baka isipin lang din nila is that so ganun na hanggang 6 figures lang kaya ng freelancing. It's not. It goes way beyond that. So ayun. So sasagutin ko yung tanong. So how did I become a successful freelancer? And what was the other question after that? Or
The
was
key
that
factors
okay.
that contributed for you to having that.
Okay, so para talaga sa akin, like for me personally, I really think that it all boils down to like three things. Um, Character, mindset, and then skills. So those are the primarily for me three things:
Mhm.
character, mindset, and skills. And the way I understand these three things, I think of it like a ladder. Like, if you know what I mean. Like for example, I'm not sure if people listening have seen a ladder before, but I'm guessing they did. But if you look at the ladder, but like they have like this one, like the foundation, like two foundations, and then the rungs in between. And for me, before you could, because what happens usually is that when people go into freelancing, they try to learn as many skills as possible. And that's totally fine. That's totally fine. However, if you don't have the right character, which is one of the foundations, and then the right mindset, right? What happens is, no matter how many skills you learn, you have nowhere to attach it to, right? You have nowhere to attach it to. So even if you have credentials and whatnot, you have all these skills you've studied 4 years, whatever. Ending is you're gonna ask yourself like, why am I still not moving up? And that's because you don't have the right mindset yet, and you don't have the right character. Like mindset, what I mean by mindset is that most people want to be successful, but they keep operating on an employee mindset, or they keep operating on a victim mindset. So it's important then that you're coming from the right mindset, right? So that's why you have the right mindset, tapos you insert the skills. And there's also the character part. There's this quote that I really like is that I think it was Charlie Munger who said this, but if only people knew how much money there is by being a good person, they would change their ways. Parang ganun. Like people think that the only way to make money is to to do bad things and all that. But if only people knew that really being having a good character, being a good person actually makes you more money than being sleazy salesman. Yeah. So yeah, if you have the right mindset, right character, and then from there you build up your skills. Wala namang ibang pupuntahan yun. So yeah, so that's kind of like how I went from from where I was to being where I am now. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. Very simple and direct answer, but it really make a difference to those who's thinking that it's complicated, etc. You need to have more skills and knowledge, but it boils down to three things, guys. Character, mindset, last na yung skills. Tandaan nyo, last na yung skills. So, number two, can you share some insights into your personal journey and the challenges you face while building your freelance business?
Oh my God, there's a
Exciting
lot.
to.
Okay, so just to give a bit, a bit of a rundown. Like I didn't graduate. I was in at tech. Like I think it was to 2024 when I first opened Google. But like not really 2024. I think I was 24 years old when I first opened Google talaga. And that was to only search for like Senomar, like because I was getting married, so I was like searching for the meaning of Senomar. But that was it. I had no laptop, I had no internet, I had no experience, I had no network, I had no time since I was working in the corporate as a trainer in a call center. And lastly, which is the biggest, I had no money. I was like one of those people whose ATM is always nasa sanglaan because I didn't have money to buy the things that we need, like not want but need, like ref, mga ganun, and like important things para sa bahay. So basically, those are my challenges, especially the part wherein the biggest challenge I think for me, aside from those that I mentioned, is that no one was willing to teach it before. Like no one was willing to guide, you know. And I think ito lang sa akin, like this is just for me, like my personal opinion. I really do think if if freelancers back then weren't as greedy as they were, sobrang kilala na ng freelancing ngayon. Like imagine, like freelancing has been around for like I don't know, like 30 years already here in the Philippines and abroad. Like, in 30 years, and up until now, no one. It's like every time I talk about freelancing, it's like no one has ever heard of it, right? And it makes sense because back then they think of other freelancers like they don't want to tell other people because they think it's competition, and they think kumbaga, most freelancers back then they operate in this zero sum game wherein if someone gets a client, you lose one. So that was the biggest challenge. That was the biggest challenge for me, aside from those things that I kind of mentioned. So luckily enough, I was able to make it work. Like instead of buying my own laptop, getting my own internet, I had this neighbor who has a computer shop. So that's where after work I go to I go there to study and learn. And then as for the time aspect, well, there's really nothing that I could do about it. But instead, I had to grit it and bear it. Like I even told my wife at one point, sabi ko sa kanya, "Ben, magiging masamang asawa magiging masamang asawa at ama muna ako." Because I know I cannot be a good husband and a good father for the next several months if I really want to focus on this. Because I only have so much time after work. So I'm gonna go to work from 6 biyahe to 8, and then 8 until the morning, then from morning biyahe, and then from there go to the computer shop, study for like 3 to 5 hours, eat lunch, sleep, wake up, go to work. That's kind of like my lifestyle for like the next 9 months until I got my first client. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that kind of answers the challenges that I that I faced during when I was starting out.
Wow. You know what? It did not only answer the challenges, but it really empowered all the listeners because maybe at this point in time, they have some challenges similar to those challenges that you had. But, hearing it from someone who, started really from nothing, from scratch, and now to like close to 100,000 followers on Facebook, and many lives were blessed because of you started this one.
I have 100,000 followers.
Yes.
I saw it. I saw it. I just sabi
Saan
ko,
to?
I'm blown away.
200,000! Ano ba?
When I check your profile,
200,000!
I'm blown away kasi sabi ko, ang hindi
Oo.
itong guest natin. Kaya, sorry, kinakabahan talaga ako kanina kasi I just want to
Wow.
be authentic. So, yeah, and you are so authentic. You're so real. You're so inspiring. You're so moving. Your story is not just inspiring. It is useful for those who want to start. For those who are looking that they can amount to something. You're that epitome of example. Thank you,
Oh,
thank
wow.
you.
Thank you.
Sige. Number 3, sorry, wag dapat di ko number, baka sabihin may limit yung question ko. This is only question, by the way. So anyway, what motivated you, John? Yan, I'm correcting myself. I murdered your name earlier, but now, John, what motivated you to establish the freelance movement and create a community specifically for Filipino freelancers?
Natatawa ako kasi I never intended to create a community. That's the truth. I never intended to create a community. It was more of an accident than a grand plan, if you know what I mean. I didn't want to do it. Lalo na introvert ako. Like you've talked to me now earlier, diba? Like I'm not really the kind of guy, that would initiate to build a community. Talking to people drains me. But it was the people who knew me back then that actually went out of their way to help me out and start the community. In their own words, ang sabi nila, papasikatin daw. Papasikatin daw nila ako. And kumbaga, kasi I knew, kumbaga, they knew what I was doing back then. Some of them I coach privately. So they know now that what I teach actually works. So it's only a matter of for them, it's only a matter of getting people to listen to what I'm trying to say and implement it. So what these people did, people who were supporting me back then, I find it unreal now, but they're the ones who made my website. They're the ones who made my Facebook page.
Wow.
Someone even run ads para sa akin. Ano pa ba? They invited me on events para makilala ako. So kumbaga, John, eto na, kunin mo na lang. Parang ganun.
Very nice.
And I think I was lucky to have, to be surrounded by people, like them. But here's the funny part. Even with all those, it still took me around 6 months. Yeah, I think another 6 months before I finally said yes. And my reasoning back then was, I don't want to create this thing, or have this thing if I cannot have my own agency at 90%. Like if I cannot operate at 90% automated yung agency, because frankly, and para sa akin importante, it's really important to me that this community or program or course will not be my bread and butter. That was really important for me, because the only way I could, authentically invite people to enroll is if I'm not needing the money. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to have a program and do that and invite people to enroll if you have this other intent at the back of your head to earn money and all that. And that's totally fine. It's just that for me, it doesn't work. I don't want to work that way. Kumbaga, I still want to, my bread and butter to be my own agency, and the program or the course be a passion project of mine.
Wow. Every question is really, it's like drinking from the fire hose. So daming
Sorry.
Oo,
daming
nakakatuwa
nuggets. Parang,
Inspiring, ha?
yeah. So I mean, what do you think those people behind those ano nakita nila? Why did they push you? Why did they help you? Parang who is John in one word?
That's a loaded question, but if I just think that if I'm gonna be describing myself in one word, it's reliable. That's it. I'm a reliable guy. Like if you rely on me, I probably um if you need help, like for example, I'd probably come through. And as for what they saw in me, I honestly don't know. I I don't wanna pretend that I know, and I don't wanna I'm not uh I don't have the confidence yet to say na because of this and that. Like I don't know exactly. But I'm just glad that they were able to trust me back then. Kumbaga, maybe they know that I have their best interest in mind, if you know what I mean. Like because normally people will gravitate towards someone who doesn't have their best interest at heart. But I guess they saw that, so they were willing to support it. That's why I call it a movement. So it's not really just a program; it's like a movement because it cannot operate with just me. It operates with the people that we're with. So
Okay, they have placed a very huge responsibility, not just to you, but to the movement, because people are
right,
really looking up to the movement. And with that, I'd like to ask this question. How do you balance your role as the CEO of the freelance movement with your personal freelance work? Kasi I believe you also have your own freelance work,
yeah,
right?
right. I have an agency, so this is easy actually. This is easy in a way because I'm pretty much hands off on the day-to-day operation for both my agency and the freelance movement tribe. So it's not really like a huge thing that I do. So because my philosophy is this when it comes to owning a business, right? Because there was a time I was handling like three to four businesses. So I had to develop something like a philosophy on how am I gonna manage it because if I don't do that, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna end up burnt out and tired, right? So my philosophy is this when it comes to handling businesses: the number of hours that I should be working any given week should only depend on the number of departments per business. So say, for example, for my agency, so there's only three departments: marketing, operations, and then retention. That means I can realistically spend 1 to 1.5 hours for meetings each week for my agency. So that's 3 to 4.5 hours each week spent for the agency. Now for the freelance movement, we have five departments. So I'm looking at around 5 to 6, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm looking at around 5 to 7.5 hours of work each week, meeting and work for the freelance movement. So even if I add them both, that's around like 10 to 15 to maybe even 20 hours of work each week for both Tribe and my agency. So there's that. And also I don't believe in like there's this term that's being used lately, which is work-life balance. There's that.
Yeah,
And I
work-life
don't,
balance.
yeah, and like really being honest, I have yet to see someone who really has work-life balance. So that's why instead of, because unless someone shows me like a real work-life balance, then I would. But unless someone showing me that, I'm gonna pursue intentional imbalance. That's what I'm doing, like intentionally imbalancing my schedule. Like for example, Monday is work day for me. Like Monday is work day. That's why I cannot schedule talks, interviews on a Monday, because Monday is work day. So I start work from somewhere around 5 6 a.m. up until night. Sometimes I don't eat. Sometimes I forget to eat. But that's work. That's work day for me, Monday. So I don't really care much if you call me a workaholic by working all day on a Monday. But that for me is, I'd rather do all my work on a Monday, and then each day has its own how do I say, like, focus, so to speak, right? And so basically, intentionally creating imbalance in my schedule so that it would feel, for me at least, it would feel balanced.
Okay.
Sasagot lang ako, Sir Ariel, ha?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Kasi I'm seeing already yung combination ng pagiging engineer niya at the same time pagiging freelancer niya. Talino, no? Di ba? Are you seeing how intelligent he is? How's the imbalancing part is making a balance out of everything that he's doing right now.
Yeah,
Sige, Sir
that's the
Ariel,
focus.
continue.
Yeah. He reminds me of Joel Austin because similar to that, he has important day for important activity, so he did not mix it. So yeah.
Yeah, like for example, Saturday are for friends. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like, I may
wow.
not be able to see my friends on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but I sure make time for friends on a Saturday. So
Okay. Mhm.
Galing, no?
Now you know, bless
No, I
Saturday.
know.
So okay. In what ways? So let's not talk about balancing act anymore. So let's talk about expanding. So in what ways do you, Chief John, continue to expand your knowledge and stay updated on the latest trends and strategies in the freelancing industry?
Oh, okay. So remember what I said earlier about imbalance? So
Yeah.
like I said, I'm very intentional about the things that I do and the things that I allot my time with. So one of them is learning. So every Monday and Wednesday from, depends kasi like what time ako kakain, but from probably 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. up until 5 a.m. I study. I don't sleep. Hindi ako natutulog ng maaga. In fact, umaga na ako nakatulog. Yeah. So I go from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. and all I do is learn. There. But every other day, like Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, by 10 p.m. I should be within the room with my wife. Yun naman yung promise ko naman. Like, I have to be there. Like, I cannot break that rule, if you know what I mean. Like, engineer nga. So there has to be
Engineer nga. Pareho kami ni Laylord. Ganun si Laylord.
Okay, we've learned so much with our
Galing, no?
Yeah, with our Chief John. No? So bitin yung personal part na yun. But of course, this will not be complete without going deep to what really freelance movement is all about. So let's start asking question about freelance movement. How does the freelance movement redefine traditional concept of freelancing to create a more valuable and less stressful experience? Let me just emphasize the word stressful. So, uh, how to create a more valuable and less stressful experience for freelancers?
Okay, so it's gonna maybe a bit of a correction. We're not really redefining it since being an independent contractor is nothing new, right? It's nothing new in the Philippines. We have independent contractors here. It's just that what we do is we simply inform people that freelancing is not a job, right? It's more of, if you ask any independent contractor, they tell you they're self-employed, it's a business, which is true naman. And like any business, right? You don't apply for work, you get your own clients. So that's what we're trying to not really redefine, but we're trying to say that, well, if you're a freelancer, it's this. Freelancing is actually this, like especially online freelancing. You don't apply for work, you get your own clients, you dictate your price, right? Which for most people, like, kailan ba ako sasahod ng malaki? That's not the question you should be asking. It's more about how can I provide so much value that I could ask for this much, right? You have the right then, when you're a freelancer, you have the right to set your own working hours, which again contributes to less stress. Because again, you're not an employee, right? You're not an employee. You have the power to, if a client says, can you work on this full time? You have the ability to say no. You have every right to say no. You have every right to say, well, I can only work, at these hours. Or you can even say, well, no, I cannot guarantee you any working hours, but I can guarantee that if you work on this, here's what's going to happen. Again, most of the time you're being paid for the output or the value that you provide, not based on the hours that you work. Another thing is that you can control how many clients you want to work with on any given month, right? So you can, ito pa yung maganda, like you can also hire people to help you deliver the product or the service that you promise. Again, it all boils down on making it easier for the freelancer to actually deliver the value. Because frankly, if you're a freelancer and you're working full time every time, I don't think you're giving them your 100%. No one can give their 100% if you're tired and you're burnt out and you don't have the time to do anything else aside from doing client work, right? So it's not about getting away with less. It's more about thinking then in the long run, okay, so how can I give my best to the client, right? If I ask for $1,000, then natin if you like, because a lot of people would say, well, why not just charge $3 per hour so that you can get accepted, or clients would get your service? Well, that's totally fine. I have nothing against $3 per hour. But what I hate to happen is that pinabayaran ka ng $3 per hour, right? And then 2-3 months into it, you say to yourself, fudge, ayoko nang gawin to, nakapagod, this is so much work for only $3. Ang ending, it's the client that suffers from what you're feeling, because you no longer want to work. And I don't think you can give your best work if you don't know, if you no longer want to work, right? But imagine being paid, let's say, for example, $1,500 or $2,000 for that very same work, right? You might even be excited to wake up. Oh my God, I get to work on this again. And especially if you're not tied up with hours, you can go on a vacation, come back and work when you're really excited to work on it. So there's that. We're not kind of like, we're just telling people that you can actually do this. So it's more about letting people know that you can actually do freelancing, or you can do freelancing in such a manner where.
Okay, what I got from that is that number one, you get to say no to the things that you don't want to do. For example, right?
Yeah.
You don't need you don't want 10 clients. You just charge for the 10 client with one client. So instead of $3, you charge them $100 per hour. Is that the point that we are trying to drive at here?
Yeah, I mean, there's a way to make it less stressful. And then, of course, it's not just all about charging premium without any reason for
Valid.
charging a premium, right? I mean, what I always tell people is that the problem that the amount that you can charge is always dependent on the problem that you solve. Like
Okay.
the bigger the problem you solve, the bigger the fees that you can charge. Now, here's a problem with most freelancers dito sa Pinas. They don't even know what problem they are solving. Like when I ask people, especially website designers, when I ask them like, okay, so what problem are you solving? Well, they need a website. No, they don't. They don't need a website. If they can get sales without a website, do you think they will need a website? Probably not, right? But then again, most freelancers, they stop at what they do, not knowing what problem that what problem do they actually solve for the client. So that's kind of like the biggest shift that most freelancers have to do, especially here in the Philippines, because we're kind of used to being employed, being paid by the hours. We think that our value lies in how many hours we worked, and that's the kind of thinking that we're trying to break when they go into into the whole movement.
Okay, I hope you got that very important note from our speaker, John. So, what what problem you are trying to solve, and if you know that, you are on your way to giving the value or delivering the value. And I don't know if Steve Jobs mentioned this. Price communicates value, and it's everywhere in apparel, in your gadgets, in your car, in everything that you use. If it is more expensive in anyhow, maybe you will agree with me, it's more valuable. So anyway, number two. Speaking of, they can also do this, and this is really happening. Can you provide examples or case studies that demonstrate how freelancers without experience, skills, credentials, or a portfolio have successfully landed high-paying clients through freelance movement approach?
Meron
There's
ka
a
bang sample amongst your team?
there's
Not
a lot.
naming names kasi I know their names.
There's a lot. Like really, we even have this 800-page document. Ang laman lang is like purely wins from the members. And the only reason why it was 800 is because Google Doc encountered an error sa sobrang dami. Um, and kumbaga, in fact, inside our own community, we have yet, like for the past 5 years, we have yet to have a day where someone didn't post a win for the past 5 years. Just imagine like 365 days, every single day, there's someone posting a win. And it works because the way we get clients puts little to no emphasis on experience and credentials. Now I'm not sure what kind of examples you're looking for, or like I don't know, like how I could demonstrate how freelancers get clients even without skills, because there's a lot. Like
Yeah. Oo.
we have a ton. Like we have members who like 19 years old, 17, 19 years old closing clients. So like just now, someone posted they closed a 400,000 deal inside our community. I'm not sure
Good
if I
yan.
could,
Oo.
if I could share.
Wow!
Kanina lang yun. And believe it or not, those are normal occurrences inside the group. Like that's every day people see something like that. And like what I've said, I think what makes the approach work is that again there's less stress or emphasis on experience and credentials. So kumbaga, say for example, I'm starting freelancing and I want to serve sabi natin chiropractic clinics, right? So the first thing I do is choose a market. Sabi, yeah, like chiropractic clinics. That's one of the ways that we try to differentiate ourselves in the market. Like we really choose a specific market. And the reason why we're choosing a market is that how can I, di ba kanina sabi ko nga, like the problem is dependent, the amount you can charge depends on the problem. But the problem is, how can you know someone's problem if you don't know who they are? Like usually kasi when people start freelancing, who's your market? Well, everyone who needs a freelancer. That's not a market, right? So we try to help them, okay, choose a market, and then once you've chosen a market, next is you figure out their problem, in that industry. Like as a chiropractic clinic, what are their usual problems? So that's one thing that we do, and then we try to search for a solution. So for example, that problem ng chiropractic clinic, probably walang patient, walang chiropractic patient, and gusto nilang kumuha ng madami. So I'm gonna go to ChatGPT, Google. I'm gonna try to search for a solution. So how can I, even without a skill, I could simply type in, how could I give chiropractic clinics more chiropractic patients? I can just type that in Google. I can just type that inside ChatGPT, and they'd probably give me like 10 to 20 steps to do that. So instead of buying a course on how to get more patients, wala namang course yatang ganun about chiropractic. But if there, instead of doing that, I could just go the free route, go to Google, go to ChatGPT, go to YouTube, study it. And then once I know na yung problem nila, next we advise our members to optimize their profile. And when I say optimize their profile, kumbaga, like if you're in office, at the very least, people would know who you serve and what problem you're solving. So once they've done that, we ask them to connect, like simply adding them as a friend. It's not that hard. Adding them as a friend, connecting to them on LinkedIn. Now, some people, when you add them, they'd be interested right away. They'd say, "Oh, you serve chiropractic clinics, etc." And then they would ask how much you charge. So that usually happens. But some, they won't reply. So sometimes we send a pitch that says, "Hi there, John here. We've been connected for a while now. Now, I'm not sure if this may interest you, but would you be open to letting me help your chiropractic clinic get more patients for the next 2 weeks for free, completely no charge?" And most of the time, that works. I mean, who doesn't? Ito lang yung tanong dun eh. Like, who doesn't want patients for free, and someone's doing it for you, right? Now, as you can see, while I'm trying to tell you this, diba? Like, there's nothing about, magaling kasi ako eh. Graduate ako nito, or I finished this course, or like, there's nothing saying about how good they are, but it's all about how can we help. That's the mindset that we want to take freelancers in. And for example, you're the kind of, you're the pitch guy, and then they accepted it. Most of the time, 3 things can happen from there. Right? So you offered your service for 2 weeks for free. Maybe you do a good job, right? Maybe you'll do a good job and they ask you how much it costs, it would cost for them to hire you. Or maybe you do okay lang. And after that, you ask them naman, ikaw naman magtatanong, like, would you like me to continue doing this for you? And the third thing that could happen is you suck at doing it. Right? You weren't able to do what you needed to do, but at the same time, that's not a loss, because that's a learning opportunity for you. And the more people that you offer that free service to, the more you learn. So that's kind of like how we want to approach it. Like, how I'd like to think that is the reason why it's working is that the whole focus is on how to help the client instead of, how can I be
There's really a process as well, no? I'm
Yeah.
seeing
Right.
that. Very
Right, and-
engineer.
and also the process that we make members go through is, believe it or not, it's the same process that every business should go through anyways.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no one starts a business and say, I have this social media agency. Like, no one starts like that. Like, they want to figure out first, like, diba, like, one of the things that I really, really like is that when it comes to business, that's why I love business, is because the only way you can make money in a business is if you're actually helping people, right? That's the only way you can make money. And the more people you help, the more, the more money you make. Yun lang naman, that's business in a nutshell. Pinapahirapan lang naman natin with all the bells and whistles, but in its essence, that's basically it. So why not focus on who are the people that I want to help and what help can I offer them before asking where do I get credentials, where do I get, that's not really the question.
Okay, guys, if you've noticed, no, napaka-generous talaga ng ating
Oo,
speaker.
sobrang generous.
Yeah, he did not only give a case study or example, kasi talagang may kumikita talaga eh, matindi yung kitaan.
Oo,
Oh,
pinakita
no?
pa niya yung details, ano?
Oh,
He's now showing the steps.
yeah, I mean the strategies and the
Yes, the
techniques.
strategies.
If you're talagang tuning in, if you're all ears, talagang makikita mo what made the difference. And not only that, he gave us I think the most valuable part of that is the principle of helping more than selling. So
Agree.
replace the word selling with the word helping. And by doing that, you can become a John or a sino ba, Lisel or a Bless because they are here to help. So guys, the operative word is find a way to help solve people's problem. Okay, number 4. Ay, sorry. Number again. Hirap pag live eh, no? Dapat no numbering eh. Anyway, how does the freelance movement support freelancer in achieving their desired business and lifestyle goals? Are there specific resources or mentorship programs available for them?
Um, yes, there is. We have the freelance movement community. It's a Facebook group. We have the page. We have Instagram. So there are free resources in there that they could use right away. In fact, we keep telling members about this. Just use everything that you see in the community. You can get a client. Like we don't. Ito lang yun, we don't gatekeep that information. What I mean, like if you are resourceful, you study everything inside this group, you will get a client. The only thing that's left is for you to take action. That's the only thing. Now we also have the freelance movement tribe, which is a paid program, and the only reason again it's paid is that it's a full year program where we hold the freelancer's hand to help them go from newbie to someone who's running their own agency, and we have about 20 plus 20 coaches in there because I'm like Lucette is included in the
Yeah.
coaches, and we have about from the last I heard we have about 300 tribe leaders supporting the community. So and that takes that takes manpower and cost and all that. But yeah, so that's the only paid thing that we have actually. So it's a full year program where we take them step by step from newbie to choosing their market to having their offer and up to the point we're in. We even talk about hiring, how to how to onboard clients, how to offboard clients. Most of our members say that it's a business course disguised as a freelancing program. Yeah, that's kind of what most people say because we take for people from stage 1 to stage 4. Stage 1 is you don't have an offer yet. Stage 2 is you get your first client. Stage 3 is where you get multiple clients. And then stage 4 is moving yourself out of the business, right? So you're managing, you're in the business on it, you're managing on it, not in it. So now so basically the goal is for people to be able to get their ideal income, even if they don't work for 2 weeks, for a month or 2 months. Like magugulat ka, babalik sila from vacation. Oh my God, I still got my desired income. That's the kind of life we want for our members. And yeah, those are the resources that we have: the community, the page, the YouTube, Instagram, and then there's also the paid program, which is the Freelance Movement Tribe.
Okay, guys, so if you're not yet into freelancing movement, don't wait another day. Nandiyan, you can search their Facebook, and I myself will follow the Facebook and maybe inquire on how to join the program as well because I'm a startup company as well. So I hope
Oh,
you welcome me.
yeah.
Yeah. Bless will ask more about how people can connect with you. But again, another question: can you share success stories of freelancer who have transformed their lives or freelancing career and achieved their dreams with the guidance and support of the freelance movement?
Oh my God, like there's a lot. I don't even know where to start because we have people buying islands, we have people buying co-working spaces, we have people posting that they've hired more people because some of our members they also have this goal of being able to help their fellow fellow freelancers or fellow people sa mga province nila. So they end up having this big agency. Some have BPOs. Um, like I was saying, kanina, someone just posted a 400K deal. Like things like that happen for like on a daily basis. I'm not sure like I'm not sure if Lisa can attest to this, but most people when they go from the outside and inside our community, the thing that they describe it is more like it's a culture shock. And most of the time they get like they get shocked by what they see that normal palang may ganito. Like this something that's actually happening here in the Philippines. Like instead of we get people asking like, okay, now that you're making money, where do you invest? Like those are the types of questions that we get inside the community. So it's kind of hard to say like example like when you try to ask me examples, it's kind of hard because it's like, oh my god, where do I even start? Um,
Sa dami, no?
I asked the wrong question.
Ang dami talaga. Like maybe Lizelle can talk about it naman. Like, I'm not sure. Like
Yeah. The tribe really is an example of infinite abundance. So again, nakaka-excite, but there's a limit to my questioning. So I would like to. Well, I'm so blessed na nagkaroon ako ng encounter with you, John, Lizelle, and the whole community of freelance, those unsung heroes who work at the back, you guys are making an impact in many ways that you can't imagine. But right now, I'd like to turn you over to my partner, my host, Bless. Go ahead, Bless.
Okay. Hi, John. So, eto na. I'll just have parang a quick lang questions about this. But there are several programs that I've seen, and I don't know if they're really existing. My friend said it's existing. So I want to ask, okay, one of them is freelance Kickstarter course, one-on-one coaching, freelance blogging mastery, content writing masterclass, freelance business academy. Are they all existing or titles lang siya, or are you gonna have one like that? Kasi if I do a research, that's what's given to me. And my friend said yes and no. So I want to confirm with you.
okay. The blogging and the content writing. Here's the thing with our community. Like if you go inside our community, most people are like what I mean, like gurus themselves. Like if you know what I mean. We have a ton of that. Sometimes like when someone goes into the community, they are pretty much surprised. Like, oh my god, like it's like the all stars of freelancing are inside the group. So maybe some of those courses are from there, but the freelancing Kickstarter, that's our 12-day challenge.
Oh, so there's a Kickstarter talaga.
Yeah, where we it's just funny because we try to get people from not knowing anything about freelancing to getting their first client in 12 days. So that's kind of like that's why it's a Kickstarter, because we kickstart their career from not knowing anything to at the very least knowing how to get clients. So there's that. That's one of the programs, and then the Freelance Movement Tribe, which is our flagship program, and it's a yearly thing. As for the others that you mentioned, I'm not sure
if they're existing right now,
if they're
or
existing,
they're about to exist, or they're about to be conceptualized, or
maybe, but yeah, as much as possible, we'd love to. Like for example, the 12-day thing, it's free. We're not asking for anything. You can join it, if you want. Like, go ahead. We, as the CEO, I love, I love the fact that we can just focus on just one program and that's it. I really want to give our attention to just one. I don't want to keep on creating new, new products every now and then. Creating is easy, right? Getting people to buy is easy, but that's my job. I'm a marketer, so I can make people buy like in a snap. Like, not bragging, but that's kind of like what I do. But supporting those people who are gonna buy, that's gonna be the problem. And we don't want to be like a fly by night operation wherein we get you to buy and then we just leave you alone, right? So we want to support you at the very least so that you could get the result that you actually want. So yeah, just two courses right now. The freelance,
Aha. Okay, so probably ano pa siya? Nasa conceptualization phase pa siya. Okay, the fly-by-night, by the way, is what we are called 20 years ago. Yun ang tawag doon sa mga freelancers before.
right, right.
Okay, there's a question here. Hi, please can you guide something to content writer freelancers?
Guide on.
Guide on content writer freelancers. This is from Sarah Ali. Is there such a thing on content writer freelancing, or meron ba, or magkakaroon pala?
Okay, so inside the freelance movement, how do I say this? We're skill agnostic. Like, it doesn't matter what your skill is.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter what your skill is because business is business. And sometimes we try to pigeonhole ourselves into a skill na, like for example, if I want, say for example, I'm helping hotels, and one of the problems is the hotels is booking, right?
Mhm.
If I search for a solution, writing content is just one of the solutions to that problem,
Mhm.
right? So why pigeonhole myself into just that just one skill when I could do a lot of things to solve that particular problem? It's not, if you know what I mean. Like, yes, you can do that, but why do that to yourself, right?
Now I understand why you're like that, because you don't want to be pigeonholed. Okay, Lisel, can you come in? Because I'm gonna ask this question. I think is gonna be very helpful. So Lisel and John, okay, the question is, what are some of the upcoming projects that you have for the freelance movement that are in the works right now, and would you like to share it with us?
Sige. Maybe I can share something
Sige.
to
Pwede
Sarah
ba,
Ali
Chief?
then by experience kasi so basically, hi, I'm Lizelle. So I started with the freelance movement. I think it was 3 years ago. I think I am batch 3.
Yeah.
And when I started out, I'm fresh from corporate. So and then I figured out na fresh from corporate, nag-start ako mag-Upwork, and then I was just writing resumes then. I was just enjoying it, like skill agnostic. I just got it for because I was a content writer, and then it just so happened that the clients that I had were career coaches. And then I was doing it. I was happy with what I was earning, but then one of my friends, Marielle Helder, told me, you know what? I heard John said that you can earn like 700 USD as a resume writer. I said, what? What the fudge, right? So I was intrigued because I guess getting that sense of freedom as a resume writer and somehow earning while I was at home, that was already something that was already freeing for me. But I did not think that if I was able to really uplift myself and help others in return. So when I started with the freelance movement tribe, basically I told myself na yes, I have the skill, but I would like to have a mindset na let's start from zero, because I'm not, parang I want to learn from everyone. And I guess that's the key thing. If you ask me what are some of the programs, just imagine if you ask John, of course, who's our chief, but if you ask that of how many thousands of freelancers who are there who have the same mindset, and they're opening up several different programs on how to help Filipinos and how to help their communities, that would be really mind blown. So I guess if you're a content writer or freelance, I'll just give two examples. So one thing that I loved about the freelance movement tribe is I have the freedom to think differently and not be scared if, for instance, ChatGPT will get my job away, right? Or for instance, I would have some problems and I would have to go back to Zamboanga City, right? Because I'm from there. Why? Because it made me think, okay, wherever I am, as long as there is a problem that I can solve, as long as I can show the value that I can give, right? And I have the community to back me, that's the kind of freedom that I hope everyone will also have. The second is for those who are a bit afraid of so many changes, just like someone who's an employee. Just a little backstory. I was never the first choice to lead in all my leadership roles, but I don't know why. John trusted me, trusted all of us 20 to lead a group of 300 freelancers. And I guess it's also being humble enough to need other persons, because that's also how we can sustain ourselves, diba? And it's the power of everybody, power of everyone. And building a community na everyone can just ask a question and no one will say, oh my gosh, baka Ariel, you will get my client, you will make sulot. No, nobody's like that inside. So
It's good to
yeah, I
hear,
guess that's,
Lisel. Oo, that's
yeah.
good to hear. Oo. John, I'm gonna ask your permission ha, mag-extend tayo konti kasi I would like to hear from John Briones. Fan ako nito mga to kasi sa top 100 yung mga yan eh. So John, magsalita ka
nagulat
dyan.
ako. Hi, Chief. Hello, everybody. Good evening. What will I say? I'm also part of the tribe since 2019, so batch 3 as well. The changes, the life changes, the progress in me has hindi na siya ma-explain eh. Kasi I am same with Lisel. Parang I started with my own agency already before I jumped into the freelance movement. So I have my own teams already. But when I got in, I emptied my cup. Ika nga. Talagang I started to learn from scratch, but with experience, something like that. But the real thing na nagustuhan ko sa tribe is the community, the support, the people who are unselfish to really share what they know from people from different parts, not really of the world lang eh, like different status as well. Not everybody are graduates, not everybody has work in there, but everyone is just helping each other out, and that's what I really really am proud of sa loob ng freelance movement tribe. So yeah, we have a lot of programs, and I would let Chief discuss about it, but we are so excited to get more freelancers on board this coming June. So go ahead, Chief. Tell us more about it. Ikaw na mag-promote ng ating, yeah.
Oh, ikaw na mag-promote. We're waiting for that.
Yeah, so tawag dito, ito na naman tayo. Like, we have this thing called like the freelancing, the 12-day challenge. What you guys mentioned earlier was the freelancing Kickstarter. We have this 12-day challenge thing where we take newbies, or even if we already have experience, but we want to learn our different brand of how we do freelancing. You can join us. You can join us there. It's gonna be starting from, if I'm not mistaken, the registration is ongoing now. Well, the registration, sabi ko sa inyo, hindi dapat ako pinag-aano dito because I just oversee the things, but yeah, it's gonna be open. The registration is gonna be opening tomorrow on the 17th, and anyone can join. Really, like, again, this is free. Anyone can join, and I'd love to encourage like anyone who's listening to this, regardless if you're a freelancer, aspiring freelancer, or maybe you're a business owner. Like some businesses, they're inside the tribe because they see that, okay, the way they do business is exactly the way we do freelancing. So even if you're a business owner, you can join. The whole 12-day thing will happen. Will start May 31st, somewhere around those dates. But yeah, I would love to invite you to join us. And on June 12th, the Freelance Movement Tribe, which is our flagship program, is going to be opening its doors for enrollment. We receive a ton of um, death threats from people saying, open
Death
this or
threats?
yeah, not close to. Just kidding. No, but we have, we often get feedback from people like violent reactions, like why are you guys closing the tribe and whatnot. Well, we only open it like twice a year at most. We only open it like twice a year at most, and this launch is gonna be the last time this year we'll be opening it. So if you don't get in, like probably see you next year. But yeah, we only open like twice, and the reason for that is again when we open, like I said, we don't want to just get you to buy and then not and leave you alone. So the reason why we're closing it is so that we're gonna be opening enrollment for like from the 12th to the 16th, and after that we're gonna open it only for 5 days. Then after that, it's never gonna open again. So reason for that, we want to support people like to the best of our abilities. We want to focus on helping them get more clients, get their systems in order, get their agencies up and running. That's what's gonna be our focus and on once we close enrollment. But yeah, June 12th to 16th, Freelance Movement Tribe is gonna be opening its doors. If you'd love to join us, go ahead. We'd love to meet you there. Don't worry. Not everyone inside is like me. We have people like Lisa, we have people like Jan. We have very talented people in there. In fact, I'm probably the least talented person inside that group. But yeah, it's just a fun group wherein not only do you have get more resources really. What I'm proud of is like what Lisa and Jan said. It's the support. It's the community. You have coaches, and the moment you go in, we put you inside an accountability group because again we feel that if we leave you all alone to your device, to your own device, that you're probably not going to do anything. So we want to put you with people with the same goal, with the same mindset, so that every week you're just moving towards your goal. It doesn't matter kung mabagal o mabilis. What's important for us is that you're moving forward, because we know that if you move forward, like even just like 1%, 2%, 3% more, we know that sooner or later you're gonna get to where you want to go. You don't know what I mean. So there's that the freelance movement 12-day challenge, like the Kickstarter course, and then which is free, and then there's the freelance movement tribe, which is going to be open on June 12th to 16th. There.
I have Angelo and Cheska. You might have questions, Angelo or Cheska, for John. I don't know if they can hear me. Angelo, are you there? Because I saw his name. Okay, mukhang wala. O sige. Since walang question, ako magtatanong. Okay, what
Sure.
advice are you gonna give the community? The communities that are being built within. Kasi di ba, you're a community in itself and it's big. It's 200,000, I'm telling you, Chief. And your gatekeepers are really gatekeepers. Very nice gatekeepers. Okay. But now that there are smaller businesses that are being formed, what can you advise them? What can you tell them? And how do you inspire them as well? What can you say to them?
Okay, it's not really more of an advice, but more of a reminder, which is like the very best thing that you can do, especially if you're just starting out your community, is your vision. That's really important. Like people should know what your vision is. Because I always tell people this, like you want to build a community, yes, sure. So you have all the bells and whistles, you have all the best people in there. But the problem is it's like riding a bus, right? No matter how good your bus is, right? No matter how good your bus is, even if it's aircon or even there's like a CR inside, even if iparada mo pa siya in front of like a ton of people, you're gonna notice that hanggat wala kang plaka on where you're going, walang sasakay. Right? But
Yan.
imagine a bus, karag-karag, walang aircon, walang CR, mabaho, madumi, pero may nakalagay doon kubaw. Malamang may sasabit pa doon. Right? Pag people are gonna rush in towards that bus, and baka nga magtulakan pa sila pa, magunahan pa sila. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. Regardless of how good you think your program is, your community is, and all that, and all, even if it has all the bells and whistles in the world, it doesn't matter. If people don't know where you're trying to take them, they won't follow. And I guess I'm not sure if Lisa is here. Nandiyan ka ba, Lisa? You're still there? And so if I ask Lisel what our vision is, she should be able to communicate it. Like, ano nga, Lisel, yung vision natin, just to prove na this is not something that I just make up.
That we want to redefine what and lift the term freelancer or Filipino freelancer, so that we are the same breadth as an engineer, as lawyers, and as doctors, because that is really how it is.
Yeah. So that's the vision. And if you're a community manager, if you're building a community, that's something that you repeat over and over and over until maumay yung mga tao. And that's something that I barely see in other communities. That's why, people kind of like people, like when community managers ask me, like, why are my people like this, parang wala silang pakialam and all that. Well, ang tanong ko naman, my question is, are you giving them a reason para magkaroon ng pakialam? Is this something ba, like, are you giving them a vision? Do you tell them exactly, this is where I want to take you guys? Yeah. So that's something na malamang si Lisel utang-utaan na sa akin kakasabi ko ng vision namin. But yeah, that's something that I repeat, not just with our team members, but with the entire community as well. So whenever I get interviewed, whenever I do a webinar, whenever there's a chat, like for example, we're going to do the 12-day challenge. So simula pa lang nun, that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to tell people, okay, 5 to 10 years from now, the word freelancing would be mentioned under the same breath as doctor, lawyer, and engineer. I tell them that specifically. So if there's any advice, more like a reminder, is tell people what, if you have a vision, tell people, communicate it as often as possible. Yeah.
Last question that I have for you. Why do you do what you do? What is your why? What is, at the end of the day, why?
I think this is a good follow-up question on the question earlier, because the only reason why I do what I do is because of the vision. I really want to make that happen. Because personally, like, I had this near-death experience. I think it was like February 14, 2018. I went to the hospital with my wife crying. I was driving the car kasi parang feeling ko inatake ako sa puso. Because my left arm went numb and stuff. And then when I was in the emergency room, my wife and the doctor were talking, and then I heard them talking about putting me in the ICU, and if something happens, blah blah blah. But while I was lying there, all I could think of, again, at this time, I could already consider myself successful in the house. My children taken care of. I had the budget and all that. But the back of my head, the only thing I could think of is, ito na yun. Like, there was, like, most of the time, people tell me that, like, as long as I got my family taken care of, okay na akong mamatay. Turns out that was not true. It's not. Like, I really thought I was okay. I really thought that as long as I have my family taken care of, I'm good. But turns out it's not. It felt empty, really. So I had to choose. So I had to find a bigger goal outside of myself, outside of my family. And the goal that I chose was this. That 5 to 10 years from now, freelancing would be mentioned under the same breath as a doctor, lawyer, and engineer. And that's why I'm doing this, because I really want that to happen. I want the time to come wherein, teachers would say to their kids, like teachers would ask their students, right? Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Someone will raise their hands and say, I want to be a freelancer, right? I want that time to come. I want the time to come as well na, like if someone's not studying well, the mom would say, "Pwede ka gumasa kuya mo freelancer." I also want that to happen. But yeah, in order to make that happen, we do what we do. Itong the freelancer. So that's what keeps me going. That's why I do what I do.
Galing, no? Wala na akong masabi. Okay. And so how and where can we connect with you? Do you stay in LinkedIn? Are you gonna stay with us in LinkedIn or talagang Facebook, or where do we go to get in touch with you? Kasi we
Grabe
want to
naman.
see you in LinkedIn then, ha?
Oo nga eh. Like I'm not really a social media kind of guy. Actually, on Facebook nga, like I rarely post, like once a week probably.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to look for, if I want to look for us, like uh diba, like just go to thefreelancemovement.com. That's where you're gonna, where you're gonna see us. And also we have this tawag dito, the challenge that's gonna happen. Just go to the freelance movement freelancing community. Just search it on Facebook, and you're gonna see the community. Just join us there, and yeah, we have around like 100.
200,000.
What?
We have
200,000.
200,000. I'm not joking.
Ayun.
I'm a member.
Ay, sorry no.
That's why I know it's 200,000. Alam ni, ano yan, alam ni Lisel, alam ni John, alam ni Laylord. I'm not
Yeah.
stalking you. It's just that I'm there because I wanted to learn. I wanted to study. But
Yeah.
sa sobra ko din ginagawa. And that's it.
Yeah, but yeah, yun yeah. Like, I mean, just search for that. It just goes to show how I'm not really in social media. Di ko nga alam yung sariling number ng ano.
Oo.
But
But I would
like,
suggest we also want to see you also on LinkedIn kasi your influence would also influence others who are freelancers and like me, like Laylord, and company owners like Sir Ariel. And that goes for I don't know if Sir Paul is still here. We are freelancers and we want to be inspired by you guys. We want to see how you are moving and how you're helping also the community. So we're very, very happy that you are here and you gave us the
thank you,
privilege
thank
and the
you.
opportunity na ma-interview ka. This is really, really something that I'm so proud of. Sabi ko nga, yay, teacher ako at ano na rin ako, nag-i-interview na lang din ako. Hindi lang ako HR, diba? I get to interview you.
I hope nasulit ko yung ano.
Sobra sulit, sobra sulit. Okay, we're gonna share this with you. Please stay with us. Okay. So there you have it, everyone. Mr. John Pagulayan is the founder of Freelance Movement. With his own experience as a successful freelancer, John is passionate about helping others achieve freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment in their freelance careers through practical advice, training, and community support. I would like to thank Sir Ariel Tolentino, Laylord Marcelino, Masterminds Institute, Sandri Molinos, for helping me out, and Lisel, and then that's for Opti, right? Sandri Molinos is with Converge. John Briones, sorry, I forgot the company. And our next guest will be Darwin Rivers. Diba? Yung lineup ng mga interviewin, yes. Yung caliber mo are dun sa levels na yun. Okay, so we'd like to say goodbye to everyone. John, stay ka muna, ha? So when Laylord says it's goodbye, let's have a picture taking with you.
No worries.